Welcome back to ABC News Live. A majority of Republicans have now voted to nominate House Majority Leader Steve Scalise to replace Kevin McCarthy as the next Speaker of the House.
Scalise beat out rival Congressman Jim Jordan in a closed-door vote, but a handful of Republicans are still standing in the way of allowing him to be elected. Jordan endorsing him for the job.
But that's not enough.
Exactly.
You got to get to 217. And with the current makeup of the House, a candidate can only afford to lose 4 votes to win the Speaker's gavel without Democratic support.
Will you be supporting Steve Scalise?
Yes, I encourage colleagues to do so. I think it's important we come together, and I've offered to nominate Steve on the House floor.
Well, some Republicans still say that they will only vote for Jordan. Others insist Kevin McCarthy should actually return as Speaker.
So the circus is in town. Let's bring in ABC's Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill for more. He's been covering it. So, Jay, it is a numbers game, right? I mean, it's a serious thing. It's the constitutional office, the 3rd highest office in the land. What's the latest?
They're not any closer to having a Speaker of the House, guys. That's the latest. I mean, they had a near 3-hour closed-door meeting amongst House Republicans that one Republican described to me as the airing of grievances, with a Seinfeld reference there, because of just how many Republicans stepped forward and said that they had serious disagreements with their Speaker nominee, Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise came out after that meeting, addressed cameras. He said that they worked on things with members, that he wanted to tell members to their faces and hear their concerns to their faces, and he didn't want to be accused of doing any kind of backroom conversations. But I can tell you, there are also backroom conversations playing out at this hour. I ran into one of the Republican holdout votes, one of the anti-Scalise votes, just moments ago, and I asked him where he was going, and he said, I'm going to a meeting with all the other troublemakers and Republican leadership, referring to Steve Scalise. So there are conversations going on behind closed doors. Steve Scalise is trying to make up some ground. By our count, it's at least 15 Republicans who have said that they would not back him, and he can only afford to lose 4, guys. So he's got a significant math problem on his hands at the moment.
All right, so let's talk about Scalise and his allies making their case now to holdouts.
Yeah, and the question is, what do they have to deal with? So some of those holdout votes have said to me they didn't like that they feel the process was rushed, was the word they would use. One other source said they felt like this was being jammed down their throats. And that's because Steve Scalise didn't win with a significant margin over Jim Jordan. It was more than a dozen votes yesterday in which he won that nomination over Jim Jordan. And so some Republicans felt that they should have stayed in that meeting yesterday, that nominating meeting, till the whole conference, or at least a bulk of it, could get behind Scalise, more than emerged yesterday backing Scalise. So some feel that. Others just say that they have policy disagreements with Steve Scalise over government spending and avoiding a government shutdown. Some said that they wanted concessions from him over the ongoing impeachment inquiry into President Biden, and some haven't said anything, and they just say that they're not happy. So what Steve Scalise has to do with what particular member is still unclear, and that's the challenge facing him right now, is what does he say to these holdouts to flip their votes?
Jay O'Brien reporting for us from the Hill. Stay tuned, as we like to say.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.